And thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. The Nation newspaper with a banner headline, General Musa, how coup attempt was foiled at planning stage. Doing a coup now is impossible. Nigerians would have resisted if that had happened. This Nigeria is next. Niger, bandits abduct scores in Sunday attack. Kill one, burned down police station, church. Military strikes Sambisa, Zamfara terrorist camps, neutralizes top insurgents in northeast, many in northwest raids. And the Blueprint newspaper, 80 abducted Kaduna worshippers escape. Troops rescue 70 in Niger. Gunmen still holding on to 86 Kajuru kinsmen, that's according to residents. And terror kingpin, Abu Khalid, 10 others neutralized. The Abuja Inquirer, FCTA strike, Wike workers digging, 66,000 plus workers set to storm Abuja streets. Minister moves to jail striking workers, and social services suffer more. And the Observer's Times, how Army, SSS, DIA foiled coup to topple and then kill Tinubu. Joint discreet operation leads to coordinated arrest of 7 military officers. Coup plotters understood their actions carry the death penalty, warns defense minister. The Punch newspaper travels. Presidency spends 34 billion naira on forex in 2 years. Foreign trips, aircraft maintenance costs fall as FX purchases plunged 83% in 2025. The Business NG, Nigeria's water crisis deepens in northern states. Only 31% in Kebbi have basic drinking water. Nigerian Tribune is next. West African leaders meet in Ghana, agree on regional security framework. Say region now global epicenter of terrorism, violent extremism. And last but not least is the Sport Alive. Atletico confirmed Lookman's 40 million euros capture as Eagles star makes U-turn after speaking with Simeon. Fenerbahce miss out on Maki signing. I'll be doing this with my colleagues, Olamide, Ria, and indeed Biodun Shomi, in-house analyst. Olamide, let me start off with you with a Nation newspaper talking about the coup attempt, which was carried out by some never-do-wells, among the Nigerian soldiers, because they felt, one of them, the masterminder, was said to have failed promotion test. It is not that they failed him. He failed promotion test, and he was aggrieved. And the next thing is to say, yes, I want to take over the country by exterminating the president, the vice president, even General Musa himself, if he resists arrest. So they have been arrested, 16 of them, and even much more are also being arrested and will be court-martialed by the Nigerian army.
Historically, when we look at the justification for coups, they are usually ideological justifications. Right. When we look at 1966, 1975, 1983, as bloody as some of them were, they were rooted in some sort of, I want altruistic positioning. I want to save my country. I want to take it back from the colonial masters. I want to take it back from, powers that are tarnishing Nigeria's development. But this now shows us how selfish, if I have to say, the military has gotten. You have a personal grievance, and the whole country should be hijacked.
That's right.
Because of that. It is very worrisome, but I do want to commend the collaboration. We saw here on this preemptive failing of the coup that there was domestic intelligence, external intelligence, and several intelligence frameworks that were brought together and worked in tandem. And so we're now seeing a shift from reactive measures in terms of things like this to more proactive measures and preemptive measures, and it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Long live the president.
Long live the president. Yeah. So they were able to get intel ahead of that, because they meant to strike on October 1st or thereabout during the Independence Day parade, and then the president, was told not to attend. In fact, they had to cancel, and that
we spoke about it actually.
Yeah. So at first, the military denied any knowledge of it, but General Musa had to say that one thing is they needed to ascertain what exactly was going on, because it is not right when you say coup was going to be staged and then later on it turned out that it wasn't staged, because coup is treasonable felony, and then no one wants to play with that word.
Ibrahim, for me, I'm sorry to say this, the reason why they wanted to do the coup is a big shame on them. honestly speaking, just like Olamide had said. You know, you're not talking about, oh, we want to fight insecurity in Nigeria. You're not talking about, we want to fight for more, children to be educated. Right. You're talking about your personal grievances. I've said it oftentimes that you may not agree with the government. You may not like the government. No government is here to stay for the rest of their lives.
That's right.
They will do their time and they'll go. Nigeria is here to stay. Nigeria is not going anywhere. So how do you hold such personal reasons to want to bring the whole of Nigeria down and to think that these are military people that are supposed to look into insecurity and make sure that people are safe? It's actually a very big shame. I'm happy to see that, these people were caught. I'm just hoping that they follow the full weight of the law, and it also sends a signal to others that are planning this kind of thing that we are not joking with intelligence. We have our hands on. For me, I was really scared with this conversation because we have a lot of people that want to invest in Nigeria. Now, when they're hearing, oh, there's going to be a coup, there's not going to be a coup, it's quite, dicey because nobody wants to come and invest in a country that there's going to be a coup. So I'm just hoping that these people that were trying to bring the great Nigeria, and for me, I'm not even talking about the president or APC or PDP, I'm talking about Nigeria that is here to stay. It's quite shameful.
Absolutely. So it is not Uhuru yet, although General Musa called them unserious individuals that, come on, how would you say you want to stage a coup? You take over Abuja. What about, you don't even have the GOC under your, command. They are not even in your, what's it called? There's no way you can carry the entire nation. And Nigerians certainly would have resisted, if that had happened. But one thing is, we have to put our ears to the ground all the time so that we do not allow this to happen never again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, beyond this, it calls for a sober reflection on the part of those who, after Tinubu won the last elections, went to Abuja calling for a coup in Nigeria. Political leaders, statesmen need to understand, that their comments matter. It shapes some people's opinion. And therefore, they have to behave responsibly at all times. If you lose an election, that should not be a basis, to mobilize public opinion. Say, look, I've lost the election. No, we don't believe it. It's been rigged, and you are calling for a form of civil disobedience or military coup. So whether they meant it at that time or not, that could have created a climate, for those mutineers, to feed on. So at the end of the day, those people know the consequences of their actions. We also know that 2 or 1 former governor, has been named in this process, who is not in the country currently. One can only hope the intelligence services and the military will go right down to the bottom of this. We need to bring all the people responsible, to account for what they plan to do. Certainly an evil act that will plunge this country into a deep mess. So honestly, we should thank the intelligence officers and the military, for their prompt.
Honestly, I want to see those people, being taken to the gallows. That's what I would like to see, because anyone who wants to subvert the sovereignty of this nation, the democratic institution of the Nigerian nation, such person should not be made to see the next regime. Honestly, that's my own honest.
No, there should be process. There will be process through court martial.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next paper, which is this Nigeria. Niger, bandits abduct calls in Sunday attack, hit 1, burned down police station, church. Military strikes Sambisa, Zamfara terrorist camp, neutralizes top insurgents in northeast, many in northwest raids. As much as the same thing for the Blueprint newspaper. 80 abducted Kaduna worshippers escape. Troops rescue 70 in Niger. So on one side, we are fighting insecurity. We are fighting the enemies of this Nigerian nation. Those who are supposed to be helping in fighting the enemies of this nation, they are also planning to destroy this nation. So one thing is that Yoruba will say the weevil that is eating the vegetable lives in the vegetable, if you know what I mean. Olamide, why do you are not one of them, but psychologically, or the way you've always been analyzing it, why is it that the more we are decimating, neutralizing, these enemies of this nation, they are still rearing their ugly heads somewhere else?
Contrary to public opinion, it's not just that these terrorists are bloodthirsty, blood-hungry, power-thirsty. It's not just that. In modern insurgency theory, there's something called hybrid criminal terror governance. And what is that? It's when a terrorist organization puts into place their violence and their bloodshed in place of state presence. And the purpose of that is for psychological dominance of these people that live in those communities. It is for economic disruption. It is to send a message that the state cannot control its own structures. These terrorists are more smart and more intelligent and more organized than we could ever think. They are putting systems in place, and that's why these rural communities don't seem to be catching a break, because in every death and in every attack, they are establishing their own hybrid criminal terror governance structures in that state.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
These people, they said they also burned government and religious sites. That's one of the divisional police stations. They also abducted residents, fatalities and looting, where they also killed one elderly woman. And well, the security response has been very swift. But then we had 80 of them who ran into the bush. And no, I think that was even another one. That's the Kaduna attack, you know. 18
so sad that we are not even confused about which one and
so in 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after they started coming out due to the fear and all of that. But how far do you think we've really done in fighting insecurity?
You know, for me, I'll say, Marabago, this is not the time to go out and pay condolence visit to people. It's not the time. People are tired. People are exhausted. This is a time where action has to be taken.
That's
Ibrahim, like we're speaking about it, you're saying 80 here, you're saying, because it keeps happening one too many times.
That's right.
These terrorists and bandits, as the day goes by, they're getting stronger. They're getting stronger. Why? Because oftentimes we've thought about, oh, let's negotiate with these bandits. There are still people in higher ground. The same Umar Bago was speaking about the fact that he knows where terrorists and bandits are, but he cannot do anything. This same Umar Bago. Now, these people are now feeling like, oh, you know, we can overpower these people. My problem is they should leave the religious places. A lot of people are now scared to go and worship God. Imagine a country that you are afraid to go and worship your maker. It's so sad. And the fact that it happens one too many times. In this Niger we're talking about, this is not the first time it's happened. It goes over and over again. Now we see the audacity, the impunity to even put, a police station on fire. It just shows you how these people have the temerity and they are not scared anymore.
And it's so sad, that internal collaborators, we need to move on because of our time. It's so sad that internal collaborators are also there, helping them, to fight against their own people. And these are the people that are living within the society. I want us to change tack by looking at Abuja and Kwara. Sorry. I see that you're really, pops up. It's a Monday morning, the energy is there.
Yeah.
so the Abuja and Kwara is saying that FCTA strike, Wike workers dig in, 66,000 plus workers set to storm Abuja streets. Minister moves to jail striking workers. Social services suffer more. It's all war, on one side, insecurity. On the other hand, we're fighting. Wike is also fighting his own battle in the FCTA, despite all the infrastructural, development is bringing to Abuja, saying you must come to work. No, we are not coming. The NLC is saying we have to be disobedient to the court order.
Well, many of the issues have been addressed from what I gathered. I think the grasp of the workers now is about Wike went to court and trying to get the National Industrial Court, to look into the matter. In the meantime, the National Industrial Court has actually issued a restraining order against the workers, which they are not willing to comply with. I understand the lawyer for the workers have advised them to comply with it. The bottom line at the end of the day is we have to allow the courts to arbitrate in this matter. They need to look into it. And in any case, according to the workers, some of the issues have been addressed. So we have to think about the public, the interest of the public in this matter also.
Absolutely. Olamide, the business NG is actually next up. Ria, I'll be coming with you with the Nigerian Tribune. But Olamide, let me start off with you first. Nigeria's water crisis deepens in northern states. Only 31% in Kebbi have basic drinking water, or in other words, potable water. We know that this is a semi-arid, land, and then because of the climate and all of the problems, people do not have adequate water supply or to even sink a borehole to get enough water. Insecurity is also inclusive. There is water everywhere, but there is none to drink.
Water is a basic human right. I recall, I know we don't have time, but I served in Kebbi State. My parents said, no, you should stay in Abuja and serve. And I said, no, Mommy and Daddy, I want to experience the country. Let me tell you, these statistics are not a lie. I served in Burning Kebbi in a place called Dakingari. And let me tell you, water there is almost like gold. It is very, very worrisome. Where other countries are currently, battling, climate issues, and they are forward thinking about artificial intelligence. This is not even a third world problem that Kebbi is battling. It is a medieval problem. Water is a basic human right.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. I would also like you to chime in on this, but Ria, let me start with you. Nigerian Tribune is saying West African leaders meet in Ghana, agree on regional security framework. They say region now global epicenter of terrorism, violent extremism. 15 countries under the ECOWAS region. 3 of them, the EES, the silent countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali. They've actually, gone their own separate ways, even though US is also, trying to woo them to their own side. But one thing remains: existential threat from terrorism, violent extremism, religious extremism, whatever you want to mention it. So they're looking at collaborating in order to fight this to a standstill.
I tell you, this is not an option anymore. This is survival for us,
right.
Honestly speaking, if you want to look at it that way. When I hear they're coming together to have these conversations, I'm excited because this is not the first time that they're coming together.
That's
but
right.
It's not the first time.
What's the result?
Came out of it? We were speaking the other day. We were speaking about research without no result. This is just almost like it for me. We see the high rise of insecurity in Nigeria. Let's put Nigeria, in focus, because this is where we see a lot of this happen. We know there are things in different places, but it's not as high as we see in Nigeria. What are the conversations that are going to be had? How would they result into for us seeing that we're finally putting down insecurity? I'm happy that they're having a meeting. Good to them. But all I want to say is that it should not just be like any other meeting, because we've had one too many meetings that people are now tired. You tell people about a meeting and they're like, what are they going to discuss? What's going to be the outcome?
Yeah.
So please let them put proper measures. If it's intelligence they're sharing, you're not just going on a meeting to another country in Ghana to have fun. You are going to talk about security, because our life now depends on this. This is survival.
Absolutely.
This is not optional anymore.
Absolutely. Quite interesting that we see that at least they are talking, they recognize it. First, one way of resolving a problem or finding a solution is to identify that there is a problem, which they've identified. So they'll be looking at...
But they've been identifying that, Ibrahim, for a while now.
Absolutely. So, they are seeking to one of the agreements. Part of the agreements, are permanent security framework, human security approach, call for standby force, and then addressing the ECOWAS AES divide. They're looking at bringing them together, and climate and disaster integration. So we've made resolutions, too many resolutions, but then action is very, very key.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, if you look at terrorism, the way it's unfolding in West Africa, it's more or less a trans-border crime, from one country to the other. If you go into a little bit into history from what happened in Central African Republic when Jutodia was removed as the president, and these marauders had to move into Mali, headed now with weapons from Libya after Libya's collapse. And then we are beginning to see the problem here. So there's a need for many countries to cooperate, particularly in West Africa. Even the AES, that is the 3 Sahelian states, Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, they don't have a choice. They still need to cooperate with ECOWAS so that we can tackle these crimes. No doubt about that.
Absolutely. And it's very, very important that, Africa as it is, we have this, since the scramble for Africa and then demarcation of Africa, giving us all these artificial borders, that's actually supposed to be for administrative purposes rather than, a division, from among different Africans. Because if you look at it, you are not different from us, except we see that you are from Ghana. You'll be like, oh, you don't even look like a Ghanaian, you look like a Nigerian. They say you are from Cross River, but you're actually Yoruba.
People tell me that a lot.
Yeah.
All right then. So finally, what's it called? Sports and Life. Atletico confirms Lookman's 40 million euros capture as Eagle star makes U-turn after speaking with Simeon. And Fenerbahce miss out on Maki signing. Interesting. So we see Lookman, being...
I just love the monies when it comes to football. For me, it's just the money.
How do you call it? Is it real money?
Real money.
Okay.
But Lookman has been doing Lookman has been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. I mean, Demola Lookman scored over 50 goals, in his former club, former club. And I'm not surprised he's moving to Atletico, and I think he will do very, very well in that place. I mean, some of our boys are doing very well. They're part of some of the best footballers in Europe.
That's right.
So show me, he's both a historian and a sports analyst.
We've got to go. We've got to go, guys.
All right.
All right, and that's about it for the newspapers up for review. I believe that we've set your week right, with the Monday morning opening and the newspaper review. But still to come,